Hello, and welcome to another episode of Improperly Packaged, a show where we unbox topics related to movies, TV, games, whatever. I am Jordan. With me is Luke. How you doing, Luke?
I'm here.
We are
What's up,
here.
guys?
This is our first time streaming into the YouTube land. It's basically right now just a method to easily upload our podcast onto YouTube just to get it into more places. So if you're listening on Apple iTunes and YouTube is more your jam, there you go. We have a YouTube page. Just type in Improperly Packaged and we might show up. I mean, I don't know.
That's right.
Pretty much the best we can hope for, I guess, that we try something and it might work.
The delay is back.
The delay is back. Okay. Is it
The
affecting the conversation of the audio?
I can hear you fine. It's just the video is lagging a little bit.
Well, let's hope that that doesn't show up in the actual stream. As we
Yeah.
said, we try things,
Exactly.
cross our fingers, hope they work.
There you go.
So anyways, man, how are you this week? You doing all right?
I'm doing good.
Dude, I was going to talk to you a little bit about this. Okay, so I'm completely new to streaming. I'm going to try to do some things online, like obviously the podcast. I want to do some streaming some games. I don't know. But what I have discovered is, oh my God. I mean, streaming on a Mac is wow. Okay, so I have a MacBook Pro, not like ultra new, got maybe like 2015. Do you think that's accurate, Luke? 2015?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it is just like with anything I try to do, basically it's like no. It basically, I've never heard my computer work so hard in its entire life. I guess it has something to do with the graphics processor or the CPU. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Yeah. I mean, 5 years ago, yeah. It's all these computers come with Intel on board, so it's called a system on a chip, an SoC. And so the CPU, the GPU, it all comes on the same little board. And the biggest thing that holds these things back, especially MacBooks or any laptop, is the thermals. It gets so hot, and especially when you have an SoC, you have both chips right next to each other. So obviously the CPU and the GPU are the two, powerhouses of the entire computer. They do everything. And so those two are going to be the hottest items. And when they're, like I said, on one chip, it's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And these MacBooks have no fans. They went to all or I guess they do, but they smaller and smaller fans. They're trying to go to no fans, but
Good
everything
Lord.
just gets so hot that what the computer does is it cranks the performance down, and that's when you see like the fan speed going up, all that. It's trying to give you as much performance as it can, but it's going to have to clock back its performance and jack up the fans to try to meet even a part of what you're asking it to do. And
Yeah.
I don't know. You wouldn't think that running OBS and streaming to YouTube would be that intensive, but I don't know. Yeah, it's strange. I would have thought you would have been able to get it done, but
Yeah.
I don't.
I moved over to my wife's. She has like an HP, like 2-in-1 laptop, and like I was like, I'll try it. I don't understand why that would work, and the Mac, and it doesn't break a sweat doing the things that I was trying to do and failing with the Mac. I just can't believe it. Some stuff, my Mac does super well. But sometimes I'm like, are we speaking a different language here? I don't know. It's
I
strange.
think the big thing is just a desktop computer in general. It would just be better because they're two separate. The CPU and GPU are two separate things. They have a lot of room. Bigger fan. It's just meant for streaming. So laptops in general, just they're always going to struggle. It's
the uphill climb.
But it's all anyone wants. I mean,
Yeah.
so few of us sit at a computer anymore. Other than for work, for our jobs. We use our phone for like 90%. It's crazy how many things the phone has replaced. It's nuts. I never would have imagined, that I would do like everything. I do video editing on my phone. I do picture editing, not on a professional level at all, but, I take drone videos and I do editing with those, and I take pictures and do some editing with those, and I can get it all done on the phone. And honestly, it's crazy that the number of apps that come out on the phone for that stuff is like exponentially more than the apps that are coming out for the laptop, just because that's where the market is. Everybody has a phone.
Yep.
Fewer and fewer people even have a computer, unless you're a professional doing it for, money. Who's going to bother buying another computer just for like, sorting through pictures of the family or something? What most people take their pictures of. They're just going to do it on the phone, and they're probably just going to do it in the built-in thing or Google Photos or something. It's just like too much easier to do it that way.
It's like, I guess just the one piece that's missing with the phone, that like it's interfacing with these different things, like whether it's interfacing with a console, with a mic, with an exterior camera, or whatever it is. Like, I just wish it could do all those things, but unfortunately we're not there yet. It's
nuts what you're talking about that your laptop's struggling with. And I was thinking of all these other advantages that my phone has, because I was thinking my phone has more capacity and much more speed and much more RAM. Like this MacBook Air that I'm on has 4 gigs of RAM. My iPhone 11 Pro has, I believe, 6 gigs of RAM, and it has 128 gigs of storage, and it has 3 cameras, and each one of those is much better than this built-in camera from 2015 in this MacBook Air. Much better. That's why I'm using it as my webcam. It's crazy. Now. It's pathetic.
Both using our iPhones as our webcam,
and they look so much better. I hooked it up. I'm like, oh my god, I can actually see like my hair and stuff instead of it just being like this mushed like mashed potato version of me that comes out of that eyesight camera. It's like you said, it's the interfacing. It's crazy. You were struggling with that streaming, on your MacBook Pro, and like our iPhone can take 120 frame or no 60 frame 4K video, and you can edit 2 different streams of 4K video in iMovie. Like that should be so much more intense than what you're trying to do on OBS. So technically I believe my iPhone would probably be able to do that, whereas your laptop would whine at you and say please stop.
Like it's the same thing with editing videos. Like editing videos on the iPhones, like no sweat, I can do this all day. But as soon as I try to do it on the MacBook Pro, it's just like starts whining, as you said.
There, I'll try to keep this short, but you've tapped into like my other big interest. Like I love video games, I love superhero stuff, like we've talked about all the time, and I love music. But man, my third love is technology, or my fourth love, whatever, is technology, and especially Apple stuff. So Apple recently, I don't know, we may have talked about this before, but Apple recently announced that all their computers almost from here on out will be made with Apple silicon. And that's one of the coolest things about like the future of Apple gear. So probably one of the biggest struggles with Apple gear has been Intel, especially their computers has been Intel, because the Intel is, the i7, i5, all those chips that come on your desktop, your laptop. They had to wait on Intel to create their chips and create these upgrades, and there's been all kinds of delays, and Intel's basically just been struggling just as a company in general. And meanwhile Apple's been pumping out these amazing chips on their iPads and their iPhones, so they're moving that all to the laptops and probably potentially to the iMacs. They brought out a Mac Mini Apple Silicon computer for the developers to test it out, and
it'll be the first one in so long. They pretty much abandoned the Mac Mini thing for like the longest time until now then, right?
But what's the coolest thing is, as well as it works, like you were saying with the 4K video editing, all that performance will go into our laptops. So you'll get the same performance you were getting out of the Intel chips, but it'll all be integrated right in together. So that really makes it easier for a computer to edit like 4K video that it's taken. And I don't understand the technical reasons for it exactly, but the fact that it will be Apple Silicon matching, the RAM and all that, it's all one cohesive unit basically that'll just work much more seamlessly. And I think you'll start seeing that amazing iPhone performance that has impressed us. Like I said, with the 4K video we're able to film now with our phones. We'll get it on the laptop, and hopefully they'll upgrade the camera as well. Be great.
Let's hope, because I'm looking
in
now.
The world of COVID. We need upgraded laptops with better video.
Yes, please. Well, anyways, Luke, let's go ahead and jump into what we're watching / playing. Oh shoot, who went last week? I'm not.
I think it was me, so I think it's you.
Okay. All right. Well, first let's talk about what we've been listening to. We talk about what music we've been listening to for the past week. This week, I'm not listening to too much new. Someone I always come back to. You know, there's so many like bands and artists you kind of grow out of, and then there's like the ones you're surprised you haven't grown out of, and you're like, no, this is just so good. A big one for me has been Pete Yorn. Been listening to him so long. He's been doing stuff since like the early 2000s. And
I want to say like 2004, you and I were listening to him.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
And, you know, he hasn't come out with anything new in the last maybe year or two, but one of the more recent things he's come out with is his second collaboration album with Scarlett Johansson, which is always such an interesting pairing. First time I heard they collaborated, I was like, what? But their EP Apart is quite good. Check it out. First two tracks I think are the best. I think it kind of does peak in the first two tracks, and the other ones are really good, but first two are kind of like perfect. But yeah, I was just listening to that the other day and I was like, man, what a good EP. How about you? What have you been listening to?
I don't see it. I'm looking through.
On Spotify, it's like hard to find. It's like I think it's listed among the singles. It's strange. It's every time I go to Spotify, I'm like, wait, where is it? And so I have to like scroll all the way down, like in the singles department. It's
honestly, it's crazy. The phone actually is a better interface for Spotify than the laptop. You wouldn't think so, but it's like it's just easier to get through the stuff on the phone.
Yeah, 100%. But it's quite.
I was listening to his new stuff right now after you said that.
Yeah,
I just love his voice. It's so good.
He has like that. I don't know, that like southern swagger. He's not like a country singer, but he's like a alternative.
It's like a sleepy sounding gruff.
You
like,
aim to take.
I sing what I want and I want, and you like it,
and you're all listen to me. Exactly.
I got Scarlett right here.
So interesting. Of everyone, I wonder how they hooked up. You know, like musically. Oh, what have you been listening to?
They're so good. So basically, I was sitting there on edge while you were saying them. I'm like, did we just pick the same thing? But nope. So basically, very similarly, Jordan and I absolutely loved a band when we were young, growing up, and that is Something Corporate. Jordan and I were just freaking addicted to those guys. It's just amazing music, just top to bottom. The whole band was great, but obviously there's always that centerpiece to a band that makes the band, and Andrew McMahon is definitely that piece that made Something Corporate, and he went on to do a bunch of side projects. Jack's Mannequin was awesome, and but now in present day, Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness is his current project, whatever you want to call it. It's what he's chosen to title himself. And so, like, he's just amazing. If you haven't listened to him, like, go back. There's so much music to listen to. Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness, I believe, won some awards. Zombies on Parade, I want to say it went platinum. I know it, like it did a lot. But
that's crazy now.
2018, in 2018, he came out with an album, Upside Down Flowers, that I don't know why it didn't seem to get as much hoopla as Zombies on Parade on Broadway. Excuse me. Either title would have worked great. Zombies on Parade. But yeah, Upside Down Flowers is a great album, but there's one song on there that I had not heard before because I hadn't like gone all the way down the album before this. So I was listening to it, and House in the Trees. Oh,
thank you. I was like, please say House in the Trees.
So freaking good.
That's like one of the best songs he's ever done. I love that song.
And I've probably listened to it like a dozen times this week. It really had me. It's just like Andrew has a great way in his songs of like telling a story kind of about his life and about experiences and, you know, maybe just a moment in his life. It depends, you know, like Ohio is another song on that album that like really just like tells a story about like going out to California and, you know, leaving his home and going on a road trip. And yeah, it was the same reason like I loved Something Corporate, same reason I love this song House in the Trees, like Punk Rock Princess, like because there's so many songs, it just like takes you on a journey. And yeah, man, it's so good. Constantine is another one. That's just I was watching YouTube videos of that song, him performing it live, because apparently he like never performs it live, but yeah, it's like a 12-minute ensemble of a song that's just, oh, so good. So House in the Trees, man.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say
ladies out there.
I was hoping
listen
you
to
would
that
say
freaking song. It's so good.
Yeah, 100%. So watching / playing, I neglected to bring this up last week on the podcast. I just had so much to talk about, but I kind of left this one on the wayside. So I played the beta for the Avengers, Marvel's The Avengers. I played it like early in the week.
I meant to do that. Glad you got to.
Yeah, it's an open beta now. I played it a little bit before that because I actually shout out to on Twitter Wario64. He basically is just a guy who like constantly like here's a deal, this was announced for like games and movies and all that stuff. And he was like, oh hey, Verizon wireless users, if you log into your account you can download the beta early. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet. But what I also didn't realize, along with the code to get the beta early, you actually get the game for the first 5,000 people who did it, which I was among, thanks to Wario64's like tweet. I'm going to be able to actually get the game for free when it actually drops. It's crazy. I like saw like because I didn't know about that because it's actually worded strangely, but it actually does say you get the full game. And I was like, what the?
That's
and
nuts.
it says like we'll send you your code later. But enough about that. That's really cool that Verizon did that, even though it was only 5,000 people. The game itself, I didn't play an insane amount. Okay, so here's why. All right, so I'm not overly excited about the multiplayer aspect of this game, which is a big portion of what this beta is, and but the single player stuff is I'm very much interested. I mean, I love this stuff. It's a high quality game by Square Enix, Crystal Dynamic. They pump out really great stuff. I'm also not really going to talk about this, but I'm also playing Tomb Raider, as I never beat it, and I'm going back to actually play this thing. But the story
reboot, you mean?
Yeah, the reboot, the one that came out like late in the life cycle.
You're gonna do all three of them?
I think so. The first one's a good one, and I have them all on my PlayStation 4, either through PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now. So I might as well, while we're in between generations here. But with Avengers, the story I'm enjoying. I quite like it so far. It's so hard to get like a sense of what it's gonna be like fully, just because
this is just a piece of the game, right?
It's just a piece. Really, it's just a couple missions, a couple story missions, and then it jumps you into the online portion of it, which
is that multiplayer? Or?
Yeah, online multiplayer. So kind of
competitive or co-op?
Co-op.
Okay.
So how it kind of ran was the first bit was, okay, here's like the opening mission. It's like the mission you saw probably at the E3 where you're in San Francisco and you're on the bridge fighting with everyone. It played well, controlled well. Everyone was kind of fun to play with. And so no complaints when it comes to that. The thing that I'm curious about, we're going to talk about this a little bit more during the DC Fandome, is the aspect of switching back and forth between different characters and how they're so different to play as. I'm wondering how that's going to balance out throughout the duration of an entire game, and if I'll get to the point where I actually get the hang of playing as each character and enjoy playing as each character. Or are there going to be some characters I'm like, not this character again? Or like, how is that going to balance out? I'm wondering if it's going to feel like like, I don't know, like I never fully get the hang of it, never actually settle into it. I don't really know how long the story is, but yeah, I mean, this is just a beta. There's no way I'm going to, unless I like play the multiplayer forever, which, hey, I guess that was an option to really get the hang of every character so much within the story. But that's what I want. I don't care if if you can like play the multiplayer for 200 hours and play Iron Man only and really dig deep into how he plays. I just hope they do it well within the context of the story, because that's kind of why I'm here.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was fun. It was 2 missions. That one with the Avengers team in San Francisco, and the second one was featuring the Hulk and Kamala, kind of trying to find their headquarters, basically. And yeah, I had fun with that. And then it got to the multiplayer, and I don't know. It's fun. It's fun enough. I mean, it reminds me of, in a way, it reminds me of just any other multiplayer, even though it's framed differently. And I'm like, oh, I'll like play it, and I'll be like, oh, this is essentially just like capture King of the Hill or something, but it's against like a bunch of random CPU villains, and you're doing it as like, and they have levels, so I guess it's all about, I guess, leveling up and getting armor and stuff, because I went into one mission that I was like, wow, sorry everyone, I am way too underpowered for this, so I pretty much just got walloped by the
kind of like Destiny in a little bit. The level of enemies will be super high.
That's a very good comparison. I think Destiny and the way you loot and grind for mods and different
so
armor.
It's going to be a game as a service like Destiny? Do you know?
It seems that way. It seems that way to me. They're going to be releasing characters more and more like down the line. I think they're free.
Them giving it away may start to be more common if that's their business model.
It really might.
Yeah.
It really might. But so we'll see how it goes. I think it has a lot of potential, especially as the story's concerned. I love the voice actors that they have. I think it's high quality. It does not seem like, oh, this is a multiplayer game and they slapped a story on it just so they can justify it. It doesn't seem like that so far. I mean, obviously I'll play it, and if it ends up, wow, this was 8 hours, I might be humming a different tune. But yeah. I mean, so far, a lot of questions, but I had fun for the time that I had playing it. Next up, oh my gosh, I completely just don't have my notes. Give me a moment. They're all on my phone, which I am using as I knew this was going to happen to me. I was like, no, I'll remember. I'm not remembering. All right, here we go. All right, so I saw a movie in theaters. This is it was on a Saturday afternoon, and so this is theaters in Florida just opened up. So Regal Cinema is what we have here.
The 21st.
Yeah, the 21st.
So they've been open 3 days now.
Yeah, and not a lot's out. When you get seating,
a lot of reruns.
How they, just to touch on this real quick, you know this, Luke, but how they have it is basically you buy a seat on the app, and what it does is blocks out 2 seats on each side next to you. So basically, you have like 2 seats of separation.
So the person you're going with cannot sit next to you, apparently.
I guess.
Which I'm assuming we just will, but it's like, that part's weird to me.
Me and my wife sat next to each other, regardless of the fact.
I almost feel like there should be. I know this probably would just be too complicated, but it'd be nice if it would be like, type in a name, and then if the other person types that name in, they can sit next to you.
Yeah, I kind of
like a secret code, basically. It'd be like, absolutely. I'm in that person's party.
The app for Regal Unlimited has a function where when you buy a ticket, you say, "Oh, invite your friend to sit next to you." So like you basically just say, "Hey, here's where I'm seating," and then it'll send them basically to that showtime, and then it'll even show like a little person icon to indicate your friend is sitting there. But still, it's not like, oh, now you can sit next to him. And so it's kind of weird. Masks on all the time. There wasn't. The movie I went to see was Train to Busan presents Peninsula, which I'm with you. That
makes all the sense.
It's a dumb title. Even I was expecting when the movie started that would just say Peninsula and it's just a marketing thing. But nope. Even in the movie, it's Train to Busan presents Peninsula. But either way, it was great to be back in the movie. There's probably it was a pretty big theater, and there was maybe 15 other people in. They were way spaced out, so I felt relatively safe. But the movie itself, quite good. Different from the first one. The first one was kind of smaller in scale, very intimate. I mean, you're in a train like the whole time, but it was more of an action thriller than it was a horror movie. Like, these aren't violent movies. I actually half expect they might be PG-13. I don't really actually know. But this one, Peninsula, is completely different characters within the same world, I guess, within the same crisis as Train to Busan. And it's it's more akin to something like Fury Road or John Wick. It's very actiony, very
sounds awesome.
It is awesome. Me and Amber had a lot of fun watching it. Again, it's Korean film. They have a lot more English speaking parts in this. I think they have story reasons for that, for sure. It's not just, this is a popular movie in America now, let's make more English speaking parts, because it's definitely still mostly Korean, but it's fantastic. I think it's just a lot of fun. I think there's a point in the middle of the movie where it dips a little bit, but when the movie's going, it's really going. I think the character is a lot of fun, but yeah, I recommend it. I think, and also, by the way, it kind of helps seeing the first movie just so you can kind of understand the rules, but it is 100% unnecessary because there's not a single character that is referenced or seen in this movie. There's not a single event that really happens in the first movie that isn't either explained really quickly or completely unneeded in this one. So, but either way, I recommend the first one a lot. That's on Amazon Prime if you want to see it. And I recommend Peninsula. Lastly, I'm trying to get ready for Bill and Ted Face the Music. So I have never seen a Bill and Ted movie. I haven't seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or Bogus Journey. So
Can you just let us borrow them?
Right after I watched them.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say.
Yep.
You need me to drive them back to your house?
No. I finished them, and so yeah, I enjoyed them. They're goofy, chill out, hang out with other
goofy
people.
As it gets.
Goofy as it gets. But
freaking goofy movie, man.
Oh my gosh.
So goofy.
But you know what? I have a nostalgia for this sort of goofy goofball, kind of like these morons that you're just following kind of movie. There is something kind of wholesome about it that I kind of enjoy, even though it's not like a quote unquote wholesome family movie or anything like that. There's some lewd humor every now and then, but it's not like Austin Powers or anything like this. But I don't have much to say. I just kind of wanted to say that I saw them, and I enjoyed the second one more than the first.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little funnier. I think there's an element to it which I just find kind of actually hilarious, whereas the first one I just thought was pretty humorous. Like I enjoyed these characters, but this is just kind of like humorous. But I found myself laughing actually a lot more in the second one. But yeah, sure. I'm gonna see this third one.
It's been so long, so we're gonna watch them again before the new one hits us.
Great. And I think regardless, it's kind of what I will say, it's hard to watch those movies with like your arms folded and like a grimace on your face, even if you're not laughing at every joke or you're like going, oh man, to like some things. There's something just kind of endearing about it that I enjoyed. So I'll probably watch them again at some point in my life. Yeah. But even if they're not comedy classics for me, and of course I'm going to see Face the Music when it comes out.
I imagine a lot of people, they're not comedy classics. They're just, oh yeah.
That's
funny.
that was definitely a thing.
That was a time.
Yeah. Anyways, what you got, Luke?
So I have a few things. I'll get through the smaller ones. I don't have a lot to talk about. So this is weird. I probably shouldn't even admit this. So I told you I was going to watch Justice League because I want to get ready, even though it's not till 2021. So I should probably wait till later in the year. But I went to watch that movie, and I accidentally hit the wrong movie.
What?
So I literally started Batman vs. Superman, and then realized like 15 minutes into the movie, I'm like, this is the wrong movie. It just like dawned on me. I'm like, this is not Justice League at all.
At what point did you realize this? At what part in Batman v Superman were you like, nope,
I think it was like
wrong.
Right after the Lois Lane thing, with her being like taken or whatever you want to call that weird situation out in the desert. Man, so yeah, like admitting that I'm an idiot aside, that movie's so bad, man.
Which one? Justice League or Batman
vs Superman?
Okay.
I didn't even get to start Justice League, which I will, but man, it's like Bethany and I were just going back and forth about like just the awful things we saw just in the first 15 minutes. And just, I think what's so bad about that movie is just the flow and like the sequence of events makes no sense. They take these little pieces of what maybe could have made a decent movie on its own. It's like they plucked a piece of a movie out and put it into this movie. And it's like, what is this thing with Lois Lane? It came out of nowhere. We've gone over it before, but it's just, it's such a travesty. It's hard to not get over when you see it again. It's just, it's a missed opportunity. I mean, it's two great characters.
Lois Lane.
Henry Cavill, who I think is just, heads and shoulders above the other Supermans, honestly. I think he just does a great job. He plays character great, and, Zack Snyder, I think, put together some pretty good Superman movies, but, yeah, that movie.
Lois Lane. It's always bad when, like, you have a character who is spending, like, a third of the movie solving a mystery that you already know. You're like, Lex Luthor. It's Lex Luthor. Yeah. I need to find out what this bullet... It's Lex Luthor. Why are you spending time on this?
Yeah. I mean, the Batman stuff, too, is just inexcusably bad.
I'm so mad at Superman.
Him floating up in the air and him getting mad for absolutely no reason to Superman when it's clearly not Superman that's causing all this destruction. He's trying to defend people. It's unforgivable.
It's very funny. No, wait. It's very funny when he was like, you have to understand. And then, like, Bruce is like, I understand. And it's like, you don't understand. You don't know what's happening here.
You clearly don't understand. And I mean, Batman's supposed to be this highly intelligent person, so
yeah,
that's what's so frustrating about it too. It's just, yeah. Anyways, we've said too much about that awful movie. Alone, just plugging away. Finished season 5. We're halfway through season 6. They do this crazy thing in season 6 that I can't give updates on what I'm doing because our good buddy Jordan is now in the middle of it, so I can't tell you what's happening.
Just started season
5
2.
Seasons ahead of you.
Just started season 2.
But you're gonna enjoy it, and I think season 6 is really cool.
Awesome.
Where they go specifically is really cool. So, yeah, all new people that some of them I think bring some really cool talents to the table. And if you're not watching Alone, watch Alone. It's the cool thing to do right now, everyone.
Someone did the thing that I wanted them to do in Alone season 2, where they got there and pretty much immediately left.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
I'm out.
He was like, nothing's going to stop me. A bear's going to have to drag me out.
They're going to have to pull the bear off me because I'm going to kill him.
And he got there, heard a few noises, saw some bear poop, and he's like, I'm out.
It's not worth dying for, man. It's not worth dying for.
You just don't know.
You are not in danger.
Love it. I love that.
Some people just aren't built for the woods, man. And I can understand that.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Don't go on the show alone if you're not built for it.
Exactly. I would be caught dead there. Or
why don't you start on Together and then move to Alone?
Have someone help you. Maybe someone who knows a little bit of what it takes.
It's me and Bear Grylls. That's a good way to start. So we kind of waiting on Brooklyn Nine-Nine at this point. They kind of got cut about halfway through their season, because I'm assuming COVID cut their production, because they kind of stopped in like February, March, something like that. So we've gone back. We're kind of watching some stuff from season 1. I still think that is the best comedy on TV right now. That's live updating with new episodes. It's the best comedy I'm watching, at least that I know of. So yeah, I love that show. Obviously it's gone a lot of seasons now, but I'm always impressed with every new season how high they keep the quality of comedy, how fresh they keep it. It's great, sarcastic, silly writing that I think nails it. So yeah, if you haven't watched that, watch that.
Word. Nice.
So 2 completely new things are, I watched 2 movies. I watched this movie called The Assistant. It's from 2019. It's a drama starring Julia Garner. People may know her. She's excellent actress. Trying to see what she stars in. I guess she's in The Ozarks, which I haven't watched, the Netflix show. She was in Sin City, A Name to Kill For, Inventing Anna. Yeah, she stars in Inventing Anna. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen her around, but she was also in The Americans. I do remember seeing her in that.
Okay.
She was also in Waco, which I had mentioned I enjoyed.
Oh, yeah.
Back from 2018. Yeah, she's definitely got some acting chops. She must be kind of younger. Let me see what she's born in '94. Yeah, so she's kind of a younger actress. But yeah, it's a very interesting movie for sure. It's kind of a one day glimpse at a hostile work environment office.
Hmm.
It reminds me if they, and I think this is probably what they're going for, if they were to take a one day look at I'm blanking on his name, the big movie producer
Harvey
that was kind of like
Weinstein.
the, yeah, Harvey Weinstein. So
Hmm.
it kind of looks like if you were an assistant in the office of Harvey Weinstein,
Ooh.
and like just there's some issues with coworkers, but it all kind of surrounds this person that they don't tell you the name of. It's him. He's out. I'll get in touch with him. They never name him at all. It's
Hmm.
just he, him. These kind of ambiguous things. So it's interesting the way she kind of has to navigate this work environment and the responses to HR, and it's filmed in kind of a cool way where it's like they completely focus on her from the first frame,
Hmm.
and then people come in and out of interaction with her, and they show people, but they do it in a way where like you don't really care about them. I don't know. It's an interesting film style that I hadn't seen before. It's a little hard to describe without somebody just seeing it
Is
played
it?
out in the
Do you mean
movie.
it kind of like a way how like in Joker, there was like not a single shot that he wasn't in,
A
basically.
little bit like Joker.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it does pan away from her to someone else, or switch cameras to someone else,
Hmm.
but it rarely does that. And it follows her like through every little mundane task and everything. So it's like you really develop this relationship as the viewer with her throughout the movie. It's like you feel like you're living the day through her,
Hmm.
and then people just kind of come and go in your day. But it has that cool like effect where you feel like, if you've ever worked in an office, which I haven't, but I'm sure Jordan, like you just go
Yeah.
through your day and you're getting your work done, and you're hyper focused on your tasks, and that's it. That's your day. You're not there for, social time. You're not there for anything else. You're there to get your work done,
Hmm.
get paid. And you feel
Get
that
out
in
of
the
there.
movie. It's cool how they really did a great job of filming it in that way, to where it's like, okay, yeah, this is an office. And yeah, it kind of like builds up and builds up, just like the bad things. There's just like hints of
Hmm.
it and hints of it and hints of it, and then yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It's a tough subject, obviously, but I think it was a really subtle, good way of showing just how it can be tough for a woman in that kind of environment. And I feel super bad for people who have to deal with that. So
Yeah.
I think that's a productive thing that this movie does. It puts a perspective on that you know men or maybe women who haven't been in that environment don't quite understand. So
Where
yeah,
did you see
it's
it?
tough.
Where's it streaming?
Um, I want to say Amazon, but I'm not positive about that.
Hmm.
I wish IMDb showed you it an
Yeah.
easier way. It looks like Hulu. Yeah, watch now on Hulu.
Okay.
Okay, so Hulu. Yeah. So yeah, that would definitely be a recommend for me. It's not, it's not a movie that's like does these incredible things. It's just there's a lot of subtle things that I think it does right, and it does well for the story it's trying to tell. So yeah. Um so the next new movie that I think I'd seen a trailer for this a while back. This is a 2018 movie called Prospect. This is starring Pedro Pascal and
Okay.
this newer actress Sophia Thatcher, who I don't really know her, but she is probably actor number one on this bill. That you really follow her through this story. And this guy Jay Duplass has a pretty prominent role. I kind of recognized his face looking through what she was in. Not a whole lot really, but yeah, I think she gave a great performance. She's definitely a younger actress as well.
When did this one come
Um,
out?
2018.
2018. Okay, so that's this one.
So obviously, a lot of people know Pedro Pascal,
Hmm.
Mandalorian
Yep.
fame, and of course he was in Game of Thrones. So, he gives a great performance. I mean, he's a great actor, and he's getting more and more things.
Yeah.
He's going to be in something we're talking about here coming up. But yeah, it's a good movie. So this movie is it's a sci-fi movie, sci-fi to the core, about this daughter father wake up kind of beginning, and they are on this spaceship, and then they're doing some mining, and it kind of all circles around this mining. That's what the prospect thing is about. And this Queen's Lair, you'll kind of find out what that is through the course of the movie. But they're mining some kind of gem that has this really neat way of having to be taken out of this, like, not to be gross, but meat sack. They have to like surgically remove this like cool gem that's worth a lot of money in this
unobtainium
space world. And yeah, it's if you like sci-fi, you'll enjoy this movie. If you don't,
I do.
You might not. But if you do enjoy sci-fi, I think you'll like this one. Definitely a thriller. Yeah, it's a very best way to describe it. It's a very raw, real take on what the probably not so distant future might look like with space travel, space exploration. Like filters to breathe, and you have to like replace the filter. And if your filter runs out, you like hook up to like a friend's filter to like breathe. And as there always seems to be with space stuff, there's just crap in the air everywhere.
I'm trying to dig a crystal out of some meat.
Same thing in is it Incineration?
Oh, Annihilation.
Yeah, Annihilation. If you remember, Jordan, it's like there's all kinds of crap just floating in the air, and
yeah,
it's the same kind of thing in Alien. I was about to say Alien Isolation.
The game.
What's the movie? The more recent movie?
Oh no, now I can't.
Prometheus, but then the sequel was Alien.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Prometheus.
The sequel to Prometheus. Alien
Covenant.
Something.
Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
Right, there it is.
Yeah, so that's kind of a theme, and yeah, it's a solid sci-fi. There's not a lot else to say. So
on Hulu as well, it says Hulu. Yep, on Hulu.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I've been Huluing.
You've been Huluing, man. Just digging around Hulu, seeing what you can find.
So what happened this week, Jordan? Tell me all about it.
Boy, all right. So DC Fandome. So I wasn't like watching it as like the live stream was going. I just, checked out some of the interviews after the fact, and obviously looked at these trailers.
I feel like you could get plenty after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, it happened literally when I was in the middle of watching Peninsula. Actually, I had a buddy tell, "Are you seeing this stuff?" And I was like, "No, I'll see it when I get home." But yeah, it kind of was just like a trickle effect all throughout the day. And first, I gotta say, of the whole event, wow, well done, DC. You, I think, garnered a decent amount of hype throughout the day, kind of saying this is our own Comic-Con and just showing your stuff. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For starters, regardless of how I feel about some of these individual things, which we'll talk about. All right, so first, I believe the first thing that was shown was just another trailer for Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shows more of Cheetah.
It shows Cheetah. I don't know. I mean, it's Cheetah. I mean, she looks pretty good. She's getting her powers a different way. I believe originally it's through magic in the comic, but she's getting it through this guy. I don't know what's happening in this plot. I'm going to be 100% honest. And that's good. The movie hasn't come out. I haven't seen the movie yet.
That's right.
It's fine not to know anything, but some guy, I can give you anything you want. And yeah.
That's Pedro Pascal. That's what I was talking about earlier. Uh-huh. Just so everyone knows.
And then it cuts to Kristen Wiig, and she's like, I want cheetah powers. Yeah. That's how it's going to happen. That's how I predict.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, maybe I missed that. That is how it's going to happen.
It's a cut scene from the movie. That's what's going to happen. That's how the scene's going to play out. Best movie of all time. I mean, that was fine. I enjoyed the last trailer better as just a trailer.
I mean, did it show us anything that changes our opinion? I mean, not for me at least. It's like... No. It looks like a solid superhero movie. I mean, It doesn't look like, oh my God, I have to see this. It's just like, okay, yeah, that looks like a good sequel to Wonder Woman.
Agreed.
I mean, I'm excited because I like that stuff, but I don't think. I think what I always wonder is like, if I was not a fan of this, would I want to see this movie? Maybe. I think you could take it or you could leave it if you were not a fan of superheroes in general.
Yeah. What did you think of the CG on Cheetah?
I didn't notice it enough that I was bothered by it.
I didn't notice it too much either. I watched it with my wife the first time she saw it, and she had made like a verbal reaction. She was like, "Ugh," like she did not like the way it looked like,
Yeah.
at all. So I don't know. I haven't heard any backlash or anything like that, but I thought it looked acceptable.
Yeah, it didn't bother me too much.
Yeah,
We'll see how it looks on the big screen, I guess.
one can only hope. Next up was the video games that got revealed. First off was Gotham Knights. This is WB Studios bringing this, not partnered with Rocksteady.
It is weird to me that this title, because I was like, Gotham Knights, man, that sounds really close to a game we got that not that long ago, which is Arkham Knight.
No, this
Yeah.
is all sorts of confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so for starters, this is not the same universe as the Arkham games.
Right.
Can you believe it? I was like, literally,
It's
just like
so weird.
the graphical style is exactly the same. Like how we left Batman at the end of Arkham Knight is extremely similar to what they're talking about here, if not exact, extremely similar. And so I was confused at first until they were like, okay, yeah, this is not the same universe. I was like, what? Okay, weird. So that's what it isn't, at least. So what this is it's like similar to Avengers, but in a more co-op-y way throughout the story. You play as basically the Bat family, which is Red Hood. That's a kind of weird inclusion, I think, for me. But Red Hood and Robin and Batgirl. And who was the fourth? Oh, Nightwing. Nightwing. Sorry.
Nightwing.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. That's probably the one I was excited most about.
Nightwing. Yeah, I love Nightwing.
I wish it was his own game, but
I mean,
at least he's in a game.
we'll see how all this fleshes out. We're talking a lot about these team-based games where there's a big co-op element involved. There's a lot of different characters. I'm interested in just how it all works.
3 games, right, that have been announced. Well, one that's basically out, but these 2 that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's we're gonna see how this works, and I'm sure some of these will do it better than others, but it's a kind of thing we haven't really gotten very much of. Can you think of something that's similar to this, where it's not just like an avatar, like I'm just a, like how it is in like Destiny, where you're like, I'm a hunter and I'm a, whatever. These are characters that, we know and love. How is it going to be when they're just kind of splitting the time up in the game between all these people? In this kind of game, obviously there's games where you can play as multiple heroes, like games like Ultimate Alliance and stuff like that, but it's not exactly the same kind of thing as this. We know that. Those are like dungeon crawlers.
I was trying to think of something. Yeah, I'm having a hard time coming up with something.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them out there.
These are
not ones where it's like beloved people, especially like Justice League or the Avengers.
In the style of these games are just close up, over the shoulder, third person action games, and we're just.
And there's also the Justice League that was announced as well. That's we didn't get anything for it, but it's in the works eventually.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, judging it from just what I see, I mean, it looks good. It looks fun enough. I mean, the visuals look appealing. The combat looks intuitive from what I can see. I mean, it's an interesting concept for sure. They look fun to control as. I mean, we actually got gameplay of this one, specifically Batgirl teaming up with Robin to take out Mr. Freeze. I mean, it all looked just fine. No cause for alarm. It's just conceptually, it's just something we're not really used to yet, and we're kind of yet to see whether or not this is going to be pulled off,
Yeah. As much as all the stuff you said about Avengers, I have heard a lot of negative things, so yeah, I don't know. We will definitely see about that, but it's a really hard thing to pull off. It's I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts, and IGN specifically was talking about just how there's kind of two directions you can go in. It's like where you have basically one skill set and you just adapt it to fit, what you know the Hulk does, but it feels a lot like what Iron Man did, but it's just a little different, if you know what I mean. Or
Yeah.
you have one where you develop all your characters and have them very specific, but then a lot of times when you do all that work on the characters, the story suffers, the size of the rest of the game suffers because, unless you're Rockstar and you have, decades to develop it, it's very hard to like develop these perfect characters. And a lot of times, if they're all developed exactly, some are going to be so overpowered that it's just you never want to play with them. So the balance is like impossible, especially, I mean, Justice League is going to be insane, but the Avengers
Good
alone,
Lord.
like who would not want to always be Iron Man? Honestly, it's like, Thor's
Yeah.
awesome, but like Iron Man can literally fly all the time. He doesn't have to have like lightning powers to fly. So it's like you would just fly around all the time, just shoot your Mega Blaster at everyone.
Luke, that's literally when I played the multiplayer. Guess what? That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
You love you some Iron Man.
I was like, I can freaking fly. This is awesome.
I know.
See you later, guys. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
Spider-Man's great, but I want to fly.
I want to fly. And there's like, okay, so the idea of playing through a story with multiplayer integrated. Okay, so they did say, by the way, for this Gotham Knights game that it's fine. You can just not play with any multiplayer throughout the whole story, and your companion will be AI, which honestly, it's like, yeah, that's really what I want to do. I don't want to be trying to immerse myself into a story and have some random person either running around in circles during like an important fight, and I'm trying to get into the groove of like the environment and the story and feel immersed, and there's some kid, mom, I'm playing, or something like that, and I'm like, oh my god. And so yeah, I can't imagine. I don't know, it's just you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like they present it at those awkward E3s where they're like, hey man, you got that machine gun or whatever, and people are talking to each other and they're all slick and cool. I've never had that experience in my entire life. So I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
Indeed we shall. Next up was the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. So this is the Rocksteady one. This is in the Arkham universe, and this is a CG trailer.
Yeah, this one honestly got me pretty excited.
Okay.
This one looks cool to me. I don't know. If you were to like tell me on paper these two games side by side, I would think that I would be more excited about Gotham Knights, but I don't know. The Suicide game, it looks pretty cool. I don't know. I like this idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea for sure. The trailer was a lot of fun. I think they picked some really fun. I don't know if there's gonna be more than just these four members of the Suicide Squad. We got Harley Quinn, Deadshot. My God, what's the shark's name? I forgot his name. Killer Shark. That might not be it because I know there's Killer Croc. Well, we'll see. Let me know in the comments. And of course, Captain Boomerang. But
you think they're all going to be in the game? You're saying?
Well, those are going to be in the game where it's going to be
Killer Croc.
Not Killer Croc. I'm saying like the shark,
Okay.
whatever his name is.
Yeah, the shark for sure.
Shark, yeah. But it's
King Shark.
King Shark. Thank you, King Shark. So yeah, I mean, fun characters definitely, and I like how it looks like they kind of showed what their traversal of the city is going to be like. How Harley's got like her grappling hook. Captain Boomerang can teleport, or is he super fast? I don't really know. This version of Captain Boomerang that can zip around like crazy, but that looks fun. So I don't know. Funny trailer.
Kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, where like nobody knew anything about this, and now all of a sudden there's going to be like 100 different iterations of these characters, different versions. And I'm sure there's even going to be more movies after this one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah,
it's funny.
And we have this is just me being petty, I guess, as like a Superman fan. Yeah, we have another evil, or I guess I should say in this case, brainwashed Superman. it's funny. I knew he was going to be something like that. And so when he was like, when they were, funny scene, when they're like, oh my gosh, Superman just saved that helicopter pilot. I was like, nope. I knew he's going to toast him. I knew it. That's what they do now these days. We got Injustice.
Yep.
He's basically evil in Batman v Superman. At least they make him seem evil.
They were saying that on Instagram too. It was like, there clearly is something up with Superman. It's not just going to be.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be, oh, it's Superman. What do you know?
Yeah,
You're going to kill him.
It's not just going to be Amanda Waller wants to assassinate Superman for some reason now or something. But yeah, it's funny. I love the joke where he hits him with a boomerang. That's hilarious. But yeah, funny trailer. And obviously I'm excited to see what it does. I mean, every single one of these Rocksteady DC games have been A+ great, in my opinion. But yeah. That's what we got for that. Anything left to say on Suicide Squad?
I mean, it's a teaser, so, looks good to me.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot. I think we'll get a lot more information in the next 6 months or so.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so next up, at least I might be getting the order wrong, but this is how I saw it. Justice League Snyder Cut got its teaser with a hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting choice, but I don't know.
I'm sorry, things are going on. I've been distracted for a second. I had to talk to people on the outside world.
Oh shoot, the outside world. I've heard of that. Are they still out there? Oh shoot.
Yeah, we got many teasers, didn't we, Jordan?
Yeah. These are a lot of these are really teasers because it's stuff that's like coming out like all next year. None of this stuff is close other than Wonder Woman. Really, Wonder Woman's the only thing that's happening anytime soon. But yeah, Justice League next year, 2021. I don't think we know the month, but
I feel like it almost felt like in that teaser, it was like taking little pieces of every scene that was added to the movie and like cutting it into a giant cut.
Yeah.
Also, what's up with the 4x3?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is that just how it's going to be? It's going to be 4x3?
I can't imagine it for some reason. I mean, come on. That would be so...
The Lighthouse was that way, Jordan.
I know the Lighthouse is that way. They cannot be... Justice League is not the Lighthouse. It'll be like,
It's exactly the same. I don't know why you think it's different.
Let's re-release Spider-Man 2 in 4x3. That's the artistic's intention here. 4x3. I mean, I don't know. What'd you think of this, Luke? What'd you think of this teaser?
I've seen it several times now. I like the color a lot better.
Oh,
I like the change in the look.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The color palette's great.
It was such a weird look for the old movie. But I don't know. I have so many doubts that this movie can be saved. Not like we've said, it's not like it was the worst movie in the world because that was Batman vs Superman, but it was there was a lot of things I didn't like about it. So I think it is. I'm assuming you saw as well. It is going to be 4 hours. That's a little strange thing. And it's going to be cut into hour-long things.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about that as well. Mm-hmm. I usually like watching my movies as one solid movie. So it's kind of weird that it's going to be basically a Stephen King
miniseries. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think from the teaser, it looks like it's definitely going to be better. It's going to be more interesting. It's going to be probably more gritty, which, that's kind of how Snyder always does his movies. Yeah. But I have yet to see if it's going to be a movie that I actually enjoy.
Man, just okay, I'm not really too excited. I'm with you at the fact that it's 4 hours split into 4 parts. I really wish it was just 4 hours. I just have the nerve to do that, but I think the reason being that is they're like, okay, we want you to subscribe to HBO now, HBO Max for this, and we don't want you to like see it once and peace out. We want you to stick around for whatever the 4 weeks or however long it may be for them to release the whole thing. But either way, 4 hours, that is so substantial. I can safely say I've never, as far as an extended cut, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
There are extended cuts.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. That is, you can't add 2 hours to a movie, because Justice League was 2 hours, pretty much right on the button. 2 hours,
Yeah.
not overly long movie. You can't add 2 hours to the movie without it just being a completely different thing. And the fact that they're taking so much of it out and replacing it with new things, because just judging from the trailer, I'm like, wow, this is a different story beat. They're going a completely different route. Like the fact that Cyborg's dad like is going to be vaporized or whatever. Strange thing to put in a trailer, or at least teleported somewhere. Very strange thing to put in a trailer.
I've got to watch that movie. There's so many of these big movies like Justice League and honestly all the Avengers. I think I've only seen one time. There's something about these big movies. There's so much buildup and so much hype, and I get so excited that I don't know. I feel weird watching it a second time. It's just like I like having that experience be that experience. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like Endgame and Infinity War, I think I've gone back and watched Infinity War for a second time, but Endgame I've only watched once in my life, and I don't know, it's such a perfect experience. Justice League obviously is a different story, so I do need to go back because I don't remember beat for beat how that movie was laid out.
You don't want to recreate that experience of you seeing it the first time?
I swear the second time I've watched any of that movie was in an AT&T waiting room. And I was like, I don't really like that movie very much.
You do not see a single CGI lip in that trailer, so that's nice. Black suit
Thank
Superman.
God. Yep.
That gave me I got excited when I saw that. I'm not.
And they're going to finally have the football game. Wasn't the football game not even in the movie?
No. There's so many things that were like shown in like a trailer that just like what? Like that scene where Flash like darts out of that window. They don't see him like catch. I guess that's supposed to be Iris West. They don't see him like catch that, but you saw him like coming out of like a window, and that's just not in the movie at all. So there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, what's going on? Like the fact that it looks like the Flash is in the the Speed Force at some point in the movie. I don't know what in the world's happening. So that excites me. I'm generally very excited to see this movie, regardless to how it turns out. I'm excited to actually see what this thing's gonna be.
That's right.
So, but yeah,
we gotta watch it.
Gotta watch it, and we will.
They still haven't announced when it's coming out, right?
It's 2021.
It's just gonna be January 1.
Yeah.
It's 2021, guys. Where's it at?
Hallelujah. This was playing throughout the entire movie. Hallelujah.
That was what I was teasing you guys about. Change the music.
It's the same song over and over again.
Yep.
Dum dum. Hallelujah.
It's different renditions, different singers take over.
The Jeff Buckley version, then we switched to the Rufus Wainwright version. Then we got the Christina Applegate version. That's Christina Applegate. That's the actor. Fiona Apple. Oops. Yeah, but
whole band's here.
The whole band's here. Then we all do it simultaneously. Then we remove one. All right. No. But yeah.
The instrumental.
Dung, 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 ding, 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 ding. Anyways, yeah, excited. Lastly, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but this is the big one. I think is the big one. Probably has the most to discuss.
We've been waiting on something for so long.
Yeah.
So much talk for so long. I hope we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. The Batman.
Okay. Whew.
Oh, close one. We're off for just a little bit there.
I was talking about Fable, but I'm glad you were talking about the Batman.
Wait a minute. Yeah, the Batman. I mean, shoot. I watched this. It was like the last thing. This was like the thing that like kind of capped the whole thing off. This was like the one more thing, I guess, right?
Yep.
And yeah.
Well, I don't actually know, but yeah. Because I didn't watch any of the actual presentations, like I was saying. I just watched all these later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get into it. I mean, what did you think of the trailer?
Oh, I don't know what to think about that movie. It seems like a strange mix of like just the styling. I don't know. I still don't like the Batmobile at all. I don't know what to think about this Batman. I will say that this is definitely a Batman that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
This is a very unique take on Batman, and I honestly don't know what to think. I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. So I'm like somewhere in between. It's like Robert Pattinson is going to be a hard sell for me. Not nearly as hard as Ben Affleck, which I still stand by. I think that was a bad choice. I think he was just a bad Batman. I hate to hear that he's returning as Batman now.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about
That's
that.
awful. But I never thought never thought Ben Affleck fit that character well, and maybe it was because of all the things surrounding in his life at that moment. I know he was kind of in a little bit of a crisis in his life, but yeah, I don't know. Robert Pattinson, even though we've talked about this before, there's been characters that have come up in movies, and I've been like, you know what, I actually liked him in that movie, or
Yeah.
he was in that Amazonian movie about the Golden City or something. I
Lost
really
City of
enjoyed him in
Z?
that.
Is that one?
Yeah, he was in that
Okay.
with the other guy, but yeah, and of course, the Lighthouse. He gave a great performance in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, I don't know. It just it sounds silly, but I'm in that thing where I'm not overwhelmed, I'm not underwhelmed, I'm just
Yeah.
whelmed.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I am with this trailer. It's just like, okay, that's interesting, but I don't know if I'm excited about that. So yeah, that's how I felt. How'd you feel, Jordan?
Well, regardless of what the movie is, like as far as the movie that's upcoming, I still have just so many questions, and but I will say I loved this trailer. The trailer itself,
Yeah.
I loved. I just thought the trailer was just engaging. I loved the Nirvana that kicked in at the beginning. I was like, ooh, it's just a cool vibe from the trailer. Dark as can be. Turn up the brightness on your display to see what's going on. It is dark as can be.
Not as in it's that dark, it's that you can't see things.
Exactly what's going on. But yeah, I mean, so this is a murder mystery basically, right? This is like, I was like, is David Fincher directing this? Because wow, we just got like this, I don't know who this is at the beginning. It looks like, is it the Riddler? He has like a bag on his head or something. I don't know what it is, but I guess the Riddler is the villain here. And we get him killing someone.
It was
with
unclear
tape.
to me whether it was the Joker or the Riddler they were going for.
Well, we're getting riddles throughout the whole thing and question marks, obviously, like question marks being the Riddler's trademark. But we also get these guys who look like Joker thugs, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Like, that gang he runs into. I don't know if those are like people who will maybe one of them will become the Joker or something. I don't know what that is, so I can't even like begin to speculate on what's going on there. There's a bunch of people in clown makeup that Batman's here to intimidate. But it's funny. The riddle that's at the beginning, it's like, what is a dead liar or whatever, or what does a dead liar do? I don't know. Or he says like lie, and someone's already figured that out apparently about how he
no more lies.
Yeah. And I think it's like the lie.
You're saying what it says on his face?
No. What's the first card that Gordon gives Batman? He's like, do you know anything about this or whatever? Someone's already figured that out, so that's kind of funny that someone's already figured out the first riddle. I don't know what it means in the long run or what it means in the context of the stories. It was not a spoiler, but I think it's just, that's fun. That was just out there for people to solve. I forgot what it was, but whatever. Look it up. It's on the internet.
I'm watching it again to remind myself.
One thing that really stuck out for me that I was relieved, because a big part of Batman to me is the voice, the Batman voice. Like the voice of Batman is really important. And I think I've only heard a single line from him in this, and I thought it was awesome. And it's just the fact that he's not a growling monster like the Dark Knight trilogy, which it's fine, whatever. And it's not modulated. I don't like how it is with Ben Affleck's Batman. I just don't like that. Just do something simple and something cool. Make him sound cool. That's all I want. And so when he's like, vengeance, I was like, yeah! And so that made me really excited. I'm not going to lie. I mean, obviously him beating the crap out of that one dude was kind of cool. But for me, it was him saying that one word was awesome to me. By the way, do you think he killed that guy?
Like I said, I'm whelmed.
You're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
The pot is set to whelm. Do you think he killed that one guy?
It's tough when you enjoy, a series of Batman movies as much as I enjoyed Christopher Nolan's series. It's, it's just you can only take change so many times in your life. I feel like with characters, and we've been through two major, I mean, more, but I feel like the 90s Batmans were all kind of similar takes on the same idea.
Yeah.
And then there's the Christopher Nolan Batman. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard sell for me because I enjoyed those movies so much, and I hate to see my Batman reinvented when I feel like that was my Batman. But it's always cool to see a good director take on a challenge and take on
Absolutely.
a character that everyone loves and try to do his own thing. It sure is a challenge. I would feel a lot of weight on my shoulders if I was Matt Reeves and making this movie. So
100%. I have a
yeah.
few questions about this trailer. One, was that Colin Farrell? Was that him? Was that really him in a bunch of makeup as the Penguin? Like, what in the world?
I must have missed that.
Of course, because like he just doesn't look anything like him. I don't know. You just looks
No,
like.
I don't remember the penguin part. Was
Well,
that just like a quick thing?
I'm making assumptions here. I'm assuming that if that is Colin Farrell, then it's the Penguin because he's supposed to be playing the Penguin. So if that is Colin Farrell, then yeah, that's the Penguin. But is that Colin Farrell? We only see him twice. One's where he's like standing there with the rain all over him, and the other is getting chased by Batman.
I mean, that's
in a car.
who he is. So. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now I remember it. I got to that part. Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be right.
I imagine that's something though. That is something. You hear Andy Serkis in this trailer as a Alfred, but you don't see him. So I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Andy Serkis is great. He'll be a great Alfred. I'm sure.
And there's like the voiceover, so I guess that's Colin Farrell, right?
I guess it's always weird when they do these trailers that like have voices from a different scene, and then they'll show like a still of the character, and they're just like kind of just standing there like, is that them talking or is that someone else continuing their lines? Because everyone in this trailer except for Alfred pretty much talks like this, and so it's hard to kind of.
I was wondering if the guy in like the leather mask or whatever was Scarecrow. Am I just way off on that?
I mean, maybe. I don't really know.
Maybe they just don't show the Riddler yet at all.
I need to turn up my brightness on my display a little bit more to see what's going on.
Yeah.
You just get a lot of talk of. I'm guessing from the same person who's like, he seems like he's trying to be some sort of revolutionary, to say like what is the price of your blind eye? So I guess he's trying to go against the corruption in Gotham, but in a insane, terrible way. Maybe I don't know what really is going on, and that's fine. Again, this is a teaser. I just need to know the feel of the movie, but not really need to know exactly what's going on, especially since this is going to be like some sort of murder mystery kind of deal.
It's the weirdest outfit for Riddler, if that's the Riddler.
Exactly. I was like, what?
That's why I thought it was the Scarecrow, because it's like, he's gonna get like goggles and like stuff over his face, so maybe it's to like block him from the chemicals or whatever he's gonna release.
Yeah, it might not even.
I don't know.
Be Riddler.
Just making assumptions.
Yeah, but
I would think it would be a little more recognizable as Riddler. I mean, that's a very different take on Riddler than Jim Carrey, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but there's like, I don't know, there's like not a single question mark anywhere on his outfit, which I would kind of guess, and there's no green. I don't know.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at, like, okay, so I looked at the IMDb. We know who's playing the Riddler, and his name isn't Edward Enigma like it is in the comics, because for obvious reasons, I guess, because that's ridiculous. So he's a completely different name. So they're going for realism here. I highly doubt this is a world that is going to have a lot of like magic or supernatural or even like sci-fi elements to it, if I were to guess. So I don't know. I do not know what to expect really at all as far as what the story is going to bring. But I thought Robert Pattinson looked really cool. What's most important, obviously, is how is he going to do in the performance? Sure, I like his Batman voice, but how is he going to be as Batman? That's yet to be seen, obviously. I think he looks.
Oh, it's
cool
Paul
too.
Dano. Okay.
That's who that is. Oh, as the Riddler, yeah.
Paul Dano is going to be Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. Just kind of looking at him, he looks like a good Riddler. I think he has a manic personality he usually brings to his performances. So yeah, that
he plays creepy really well.
He really does, or crazy, or something of the nature. Anything else you want to say about this trailer? I have a couple little things to bring up, but nothing we can talk about.
Glad it finally arrived.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. It's good to see some media for this movie and not just the Batman and casting and random set photos and that weird red picture where people couldn't tell whether or not he had ears or not.
It also says it's still filming, so I worry if that's going to be put off even past October.
Yeah.
Of next year.
I mean, I apparently
I doubt they're filming yet.
Very little apparently.
Maybe they are soon.
I think only less than half apparently has been filmed. So
yeah,
that's quite a bit left to do. So
and there's a lot of editing.
Yeah, production starting up soon. So hopefully that goes well. A couple things I wanted to bring up. Not much to talk about. Like they had a lot of kind of production updates without any sort of trailer or anything. So we got one for Black Adam. It's basically just a bunch of artwork that was done by Boss Logic, narrated by The Rock.
Super teasery.
I mean,
it's like, I am The Rock, and I'm coming for you.
Yeah. We have the Justice Society or whatever with Hawkman, Dr. Fate. I forgot who the other one was, but yeah. Okay. I have no idea. There's a bunch of... It seems cool. I don't know. So not really much to go off there, but I thought I'd mention it. Oh, another interesting thing. It seemed like Dwayne Johnson was kind of teasing a Superman appearance in one of his movies that could possibly be a Shazam 2 where they both have to fight Black Adam. But it's been talked about for a while that Superman will probably be appearing in another movie that is not a Superman movie. So
yeah.
That's a big possibility. He was really hyping it up at the event, and I think if they were going to let him do that, then there might be some truth to that sort of thing. So we'll see. Suicide Squad. Really, we just got a lot of talking with James Gunn, and
I know.
And
why not a trailer?
I know the movie's
why not
been
a proper
filming.
Trailer?
I think it's been going for longer than the Batman ever was, so I guess they just didn't feel like putting together a trailer.
Just a teaser trailer. You could even just do one little thing. I don't know, take some piece of one scene just as a teaser or something, or have some voiceover and then have a reveal of one of the characters or something. Have Harley Quinn have some monologue or something.
Yeah.
You're here to commit suicide and we're a squad.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, okay. It looks like there's a ton of characters, a million of them. Yep. There's so many, and so I don't know. I mean, James Gunn is an entertaining director who makes entertaining movies, so I'm sure this movie will probably be entertaining. So
that's why we have faith in it, right?
Pretty much.
Thanks to James Gunn.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Not really much else. They talked about the Flash a little bit and really just showed a couple of concept art with him and Batman looking looks like Batman 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton, but I don't know. That doesn't really reveal literally anything except it's a new suit and shenanigans.
Yep.
Yeah, but so that's pretty much it. Overall, I thought, it got a lot of people excited. People were really excited about the Batman and the games that were announced. People who were excited about the Zack Snyder cut are just even more excited now. So I think it did what it needed to do as far as what it set out to do, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked a proper trailer, but...
Yeah, for a lot of these, there's... I would like a Flash trailer at this point because these are movies that I feel like we've heard about for so long. It's so strange.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I guess for some reason or other, maybe COVID has put a wrench into a lot of their plans. It's funny the state of movies now. There's so many movies that I'm forgetting were a thing that we've had trailers for months now. For instance, do you remember Morbius?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Jared Leto?
Yeah. That trailer dropped towards the beginning of the year. Poof. It's gone.
Was that supposed to come out this year?
I think so. I think so. And now I'm like,
I mean, it's probably one, just got included in the wave of delays into next year.
yeah, it's just that weird thing is that doing like promotion costs a lot of money. I'm pretty sure like a lot of these movies just had to be like, nope, stop, like halt production. And so there's just a ton of movies that I'm sure the public is going to be like, oh yeah, about.
Like freaking James Bond.
Like freaking
That was
James
the
Bond.
ultimate one because it was just about to come out.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, that one's gone. Like Daniel Craig was literally doing the like night show like rounds talking about it. And man, I was really looking forward to that movie too. Now I completely forgot about it. My dad mentioned it to me today. He's like, "When's that James Bond movie come out?" I'm like, "Oh yeah."
With that Billie Eilish song that was released, It was like, here we go, we're releasing it right before the movie comes out.
That was a big thing for her too.
It really was. It's a good song too. So
I feel bad for her.
So do I.
Yeah, it was a good song.
But yeah. So hopefully these movies will come out. Hopefully we can hold it together and release these things.
Oh, they'll come out in one way or the other.
One way or a freaking other. Freaking digital or nay. We'll see. But anyways, that's all I have about DC. What are your feelings on DC as we move forward? An interesting mess or?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
I think they have some interesting things coming out. So
I agree.
We'll just see. We'll see what the quality is.
Yeah, and I still have the fact that I don't know. I still have a little bit of hope. If this Snyder Cut does really well, I think there is hope for a salvaging of the DC extended universe. But we'll see. We will freaking see.
That's for sure.
But anyways, I think that does it for today's show, Luke. And yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching or whatever you're doing. We hope you have a good week. We'll be this worked out okay.
Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet
next week.
Next week.
I'm so excited.
That's so crazy. So yeah.
Thank you, Regal, for opening up.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see
ready.
Tenet. Yeah, maybe you'll be given a good
Could
performance.
be the movie of the year.
Yeah.
Could be.
Out of all the
Let's not
5
set our
movies.
expectations too high, but it could be.
Yeah, true.
I feel like it could have been even if all those other movies came out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a sucker for Christopher Nolan, so I love his film style. So.
It's a Chris Nolan movie, so movie of the year is always in the discussion when he's involved.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I'm excited.
Dunkirk was so good.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a new one.
Yeah, I'm ready to get back into some more sci-fi stuff. I like his sci-fi stuff a lot. War movie was great, but give me that sweet, juicy, weird, high concept sci-fi.
Inception, man, that movie so amazing.
Ah.
This is basically Inception too, just with some new concept.
Yeah.
And that is so exciting.
Exactly. Give it to me. Well, anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Oh, yeah, I guess if you're watching on YouTube, I guess hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. What do they say? Smash that like button.
Smash it.
And ring that bell to get notified when we put up new videos.
Probably right down here somewhere.
Somewhere. Geez. I can't figure out. This confangled. I can't put like the.
This may be rotated at some point.
Yeah, right. I can't put the animation that goes ding when I point down. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Maybe one day we get a bigger budget. I got hired.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank you guys. Take care. We'll see you later.
See ya.